I'm Anne Matthews, and I live at Martinstown, Dorchester, Dorset. I moved from Dartford, Kent, when I was aged 12, 72 years ago.
So what brought you to Dorset, Anne? Why did you move there at 12?
My mother had a very serious operation, and she was ordered by the doctors to get to sea air. So we moved down to Weymouth, and my parents bought a house in Weymouth. And that's where we lived until I got married in 1956. Well, I moved out in 1955 and came to live in Martinstown, and I've been here ever since with my husband.
And Martinstown is very much your home. It's your place.
Oh, yeah, certainly is. I wouldn't be anywhere else. The most beautiful place on the world, I think.
You've really sort of done a huge amount in the community, haven't you? You've been very involved in community events and activities over the years.
I always like to get involved in my younger years. Besides my nursing years, I got involved quite a lot with the village, as my hubby did. We did quite a bit. We organised the open garden, what we have every 2 years, and May days. And I suppose really my main thing would be the village hall. Chairman for 18 years. Bowling, short mat bowling in the village hall, everything.
And pantomime as well you were involved with, weren't you?
Oh, yes, I forgot the pantomime, yes. I decided it would be nice to start a pantomime, which we did. I can't remember the year now. We started off with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it was absolutely wonderful, and it's still running now today every 2 years.
Fantastic. I remember when I spoke to you a while back, you had a story about the pantomime. I can't remember what actually happened, but I'm sure I remember you telling me about something collapsing or something.
Oh, yeah, that was through the first one. Yes, my husband and his mates did all the scenery, and of course they were putting the scenery on the stage, and the one particular act that was absolutely hilarious and made up a stand-up for the audience was a scene where we had lots of bushes, and behind each bush was a member of the people that did the props. It all got a bit hectic, and the props fell down. Of course, it revealed all the helpers behind all the props, and that was just absolutely fantastic. Where we thought the audience would be a bit cross, they just got up and applauded. They thought it was absolutely hilarious, so it was wonderful. And of course, they were just so hilarious. They got up and started mucking about, and I think the audience thought that it was part of the pantomime, so they realised it wasn't, and then time we stood all the props back up and got on with the pantomime, they were still laughing, bless them, after that. So it was really wonderful. Village life, absolutely wonderful.
You've mentioned your husband a couple of times, Anne, Ron. You were married for how many years?
64 years we was married, yes. He was born and bred here, so he lived here all his life. He was born in Linden Lee in Martinstown, a little thatched cottage in 1931. So he lived here all through the war and many years. And then I met him at a dancing school in about 1952, I think, something like that. And I've been with him ever since, until last year when I unfortunately lost him. Well, he had Alzheimer's, I'm afraid. He had 10 years of that. He was fine up until about 10 years ago. And then all of a sudden, Alzheimer's hit him. Unfortunately, that was it, really, because about 4 years after he got it, unfortunately, he went to be not being able to walk or talk or do anything, I'm afraid. So I had really just a blank man for the last 6 years, which I nursed him at home all the time. I wouldn't have him anywhere other than with me. I managed to get him away because we used to love Ladram Bay, then Dudley Salterton Way. We loved Ladram Bay. We've been down there many, many, many years with the children, camping and caravanning, etc. And I always promised him that I would take him back there. And that year, I did take him back. I arranged to go in a disability caravan. I took him down with a carer. A carer came with me. But unfortunately, that's where I lost him. He died in my arms in the caravan 4 days later. So I knew something was wrong in the morning. So my grandson that was with me took me into Dudley Salterton, and we asked the doctor if he could come out and see him. I could see by the look on his face it wasn't going to be good news. And he died 3:30 that afternoon in my arms, thank goodness. I'd fulfilled my promise and taken him away. And some people tell me that that was what he was waiting for. All very sudden in the end, but very peaceful. It was a promise we'd made to one another many years ago, that if we could keep together in sickness and health, we would do so. And that's what I did. And I know he would have done the same for me as well. So it's wonderful, really, in that way. Lovely man.
I remember talking to you about him, and obviously I met him as well. And you on your 60th wedding anniversary, you renewed your vows.
Yeah, we had a rerun of our wedding day. Yeah, up the church. Yeah, we had over 200 guests, just like our wedding day. Yeah, it was just like a wedding day, but 60 years later. Same hymns, same everything, same wedding cake, same everything. It was really lovely. Had my wedding cake remade and carried bouquets of flowers. I had 3 of my 4 bridesmaids. 3, I lost one, I'm afraid, but the other 3 were there and they carried bouquets. And I carried a bouquet and wore my headdress that I'd worn on the day. And Ron was dressed in the same coloured clothes. It wasn't a renewal of the vows because Ron said he's never broken a vow, so why should he renew them? So we didn't have a renewal of vows. We just renewed our wedding day, which was lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah, brilliant.
Lovely. So this last year for you then has been, obviously you had your period of not having Ron around, and then since March, the strangest period that many of us have experienced.
Yeah, so that's why it's been so hard, that having lost Ron so recently, and then that on top of it as well. It's not been a good 18 months, not really. But I know he's up there saying, come on, lass, get on with it. So I've got to try to get on with it, haven't I? Which is good. And as I say, the villagers are absolutely wonderful. I've not wanted for anything. As people come tapping on the windows and opening the door and shouting out and over the fence, are you all right, Anne? And I sit round the back, in the back garden. That's quite nice and quiet. But the trouble is I don't see anybody round the back. So when I'm feeling a bit low, I go and sit on the garden seat out in the front of the house. And people walk past, they wave, they shout, hello, Anne. And it's just that contact, seeing people, which is what, is good for me, really, if I can do that.
Excellent. And you've got grandchildren, haven't you?
4 grown-up grandchildren, yeah, and 5 great-grandchildren. So, yeah, it's lovely. They'll call me up once a week on the video on Messenger, on my tablet, and we chat with the children talk to me, which is lovely, the youngsters. So that's quite nice. But I haven't actually seen them. Oh, I tell a lie, I have seen them. I saw them on my birthday in July. From a distance, of course, in the garden. I saw 2 of them. But the others I haven't seen since March, so.
You've kind of embraced social media, haven't you? I mean, we are Facebook friends and we message each other on Messenger. But people that I've spoken to over the past sort of few weeks, it's quite unusual for people to have that technology. Do you think it's been helpful over the past few months for you to have that ability to see your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. It's been my lifeline, really. Without it, I don't know what I would do. Because I go round them all at night and say goodnight. I don't talk to them to keep them occupied. I just simply put on night-night Ross or night-night Lee or night-night Alan, whoever it is. And they reply back, night-night Nan, sleep tight, most nights. So it's wonderful. Without that, I don't know what I would have done without my iPad, my tablet.
Quite a lot of people seem quite scared of technology, and the idea of video messaging people seems quite alien. If there was somebody who was wanting to give it a go but was a bit frightened by it, is there anything that you could say to reassure them and also about the benefits of actually being able to do that if you live far away from family?
I would say go ahead, certainly. I wouldn't be without mine for anything. It is my lifeline. Don't ever do anything with a card that you've got to put card numbers in. My son-in-law has always warned me about that. Never to put your card number in anything, which I'm always very careful of. I don't do that. It's only like talking on the telephone, but you can see them. Wonderful thing. The only way to keep in contact with your family, really, while you can't get hold of them and hug them and see them. You've got that to get hold of, yeah. I'm waiting for hugs. That's what I miss more than anything, nice hugs. My grandsons were very good at that. I used to have lots of cuddles. No, I don't get it. Can't remember last time I had a hug. It's just after Christmas, I expect. So I'm really in need of one. So they're going to have to hurry up quick. My grandsons tower above me. When they're all together, which is lovely when they're all four of them are together, they get in this circle and I'm in the middle and I don't stand a chance. You know, I'm just engulfed by four big men. It's lovely. It's really wonderful and I miss it so much. But you either got to get on with it or go from it, haven't you? One or the other. You've only got two options. And I know what Ron would be telling me to do, so I do my best to do that, to keep going. I try to keep, as strong as I can. I break down at times, but then I suppose that's only natural. He's up there saying, get on with it and don't be so silly, and so I do. I do the best I can.
Do you still sort of feel his presence? Because you were with him so long.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. I talk to him a lot. And that's what keeps you going, really. If I'm feeling low, I just say, what would you do then, Ron? And then that's when he just tell me. He just say to me, get on with it, and come on, buck your ideas up. He's here all the time. I've got one of his shirts made into a cushion, and I look at that and cuddle it, and I just say, what would you do, my darling? And he just tell me, and we get on with it. And I think that's what's keeping me going.